This episode of Tea with Jules is proudly brought to you by The Home. You can shop any of the items you see in this episode at thehome.com.au. Shelley Barrett, thank you so much for being here today.
Pleasure, Jules. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Now, you are an absolute icon in this country as a businesswoman. You are the CEO and the founder of ModelCo Cosmetics. I'm a massive fan. So it's an absolute honour to have you. So thank you for coming.
Pleasure. Happy to be here.
And you're also the voice of business and fashion and beauty across Australia on so many different platforms. You've also been on the Channel 9 show Celebrity Apprentice as one of the advisors next to Mark Boris.
Kerry and I called ourselves the Blonde Bookends.
Yes.
So, that was a moment in time, a lot of fun.
And you're a mother. And you're newly engaged and going to plan a wedding. So there's a lot going on for you. So we have a lot to talk about. But first of all, I need to know, are you a tea drinker?
I am a tea drinker. I'm actually a massive fan of Earl Grey.
Oh, are you?
Yes.
Yeah, see, you're either an Earl Grey person or you're not. It's like it's like a very big divide.
I searched for the perfect Earl Grey.
Right.
I went to T2 the other day and actually bought 3 or 4 versions of Earl Grey, so I'm definitely a tea drinker.
Oh, good. Oh, no, we don't have Earl Grey today. I've got English breakfast.
That's
I'm keeping
fine.
it safe.
Good.
And I haven't actually poured the tea, so should probably get onto that. Let me pour it so we can have
a tea.
So we can have a tea. Oh, these teacups are amazing.
They are quite fabulous.
ModelCo.
Lovely. Loving the pink flowers, very on ModelCo brand.
Yes, you're very welcome. Fluoro pink is the colour of ModelCo. Did you do that on purpose?
Well, pink was always my favourite colour, and my first business was a modelling agency, and the colour of the modelling agency was hot pink. So when I started ModelCo, the first product, Lash Wand, wasn't actually hot pink, it was silver, because everybody said to me, you can't have a hot pink brand. It's not glamorous enough. It has to be silver or gold or black. So I went against my intuition, which is not like me, and started this brand. It was silver. And then by the time we launched Tan in a Can, I'm like, no, it absolutely has to be hot pink.
Right.
And today the brand is hot pink and still continues to dominate. In fact, we have many international brands that now follow our colour. So hot pink's definitely that bold, sexy, bright colour that draws everybody in.
So I want to know everything. Take me back to how this whole ModelCo moment began.
Well, when I left school, all of my friends were travelling around the world doing what you do after you leave school, which is have a good time. But I decided to be a little bit different. I decided to start my own business. So at 18, I started a production company putting together fashion shows and fashion parades, and which led me into starting a East Coast Beach Girl and Miss Bondi competition. And at the time, I was giving all these fantastic talent to Australia's leading modelling agencies. And I was a similar age to a lot of the models. And a lot of the models were saying, we really need an agency in Australia that has more personalised service, that just doesn't look at you as a number on the wall. So I started a model agency, which was quite successful. I started with one model and it grew to 1,800 talent over 10 years.
Oh, wow. How old were you when you started that? You were very young.
I started my first business when I was 18, then I started the modelling agency when I was 21. And about 8 years into being a model agent and listening to what all my models wish they had in their daily beauty regime and beauty bags, I was inspired to launch, well, the first product was a heated eyelash curler. So I had the modelling agency going for 8 years and ModelCo at the same time. And when I started ModelCo, it was a pet project. I had no idea it was going to be a global beauty brand. And I started with one product, this heated eyelash curler. And that was because all my models had these blow dryer burns in the corners of their eyes. And I was like, what are these blow dryer burns? And they said, oh, we need to curl our lashes. We don't have a proper heating tool. So we use the old fashioned clamper curlers and we spray it with hair spray and use a hairdryer to heat it up and we curl our lashes. So that was the inspiration behind Lash Wand. And then when that product flew off the shelves, I knew that there was a niche in the beauty business for innovative beauty products. So I ran the modelling agency and ModelCo together for 2 years, and then when ModelCo took off, I sold the agency, poured all the revenue from that into ModelCo, and 15 years later, here we are today.
Oh my goodness. Now, at 18 years of age, to be that savvy and that business minded, it's very bold, it's a very confident thing to do. Have you always been like that?
I've always been driven to have my own business. I've always been driven to create my own destiny. So I didn't really like working for other people. I felt quite restricted. Obviously, when you work for someone else, you get paid a wage and you have to set your lifestyle up around that, where I always wanted the flexibility to be my own person, create my own destiny, my own future, and be able to basically do what I wanted.
I think when you're that age, you are quite fearless.
We don't really know. You don't know what
Yeah.
you don't know. So I wasn't thinking at the time, oh, I'm starting this modelling agency, I'm starting this beauty brand. I was just creating a job for myself.
Well, you did that indeed, for sure. Let's talk about this turbo. It's the Turbo Lash Wand?
Lash Wand heated eyelash curler.
Okay, that's genius. You have this idea, okay, heated eyelash wand, I'm going to do this. What is the process in actually getting that on the production line and onto the shelf?
With anything that's innovative, innovation requires education. So we needed to make sure when we created the product that we could educate the customer on how to use it. So the first thing was to seek out a manufacturer who could make the product. So we went over to Korea and found the manufacturer who could make it. People always ask me that question. People always say, but how is it so successful and how did you create it? It's actually not just about the product. What's more important is the marketing and the brand is. So we created the tools, but then I had celebrity endorsements from Kylie Minogue at the time and Elle McPherson said they loved it. That ended up transpired into beauty pages of a magazine. Then the everyday woman who reads these magazines, everybody always wants to wear and aspires to look more glamorous and are obviously driven by what celebrities and women of influence wear. So it was that springboarded the product into the eyes of the consumer. The eyes of the consumer wanted the product. We launched it into Maya and in different department stores around the world. And it was that kind of must-have desirability on the product that actually made it so successful.
How do you get Kylie Minogue and Elle McPherson to endorse your product? Did you just send it to them and they were like, oh my gosh, this is amazing?
Well, I think given I'd had 10 years in the beauty, fashion and celebrity business of running my own agency, relationships are key. So I already knew a lot of people who knew influential women. So it was very easy for me to get my product into the hands of the likes of Kylie Minogue and so forth. They loved it. They genuinely liked the product. I heard back through Kylie herself, oh my God, I love the product, it's amazing. It's then that transpires into press, that transpires into magazines. And, over the years we've been fortunate enough to have huge celebrity fans of the brand. Everyone from Victoria Beckham wrote about us in her book to the First Lady to we've had Rosie Huntington-Whiteley and about to sign a new ambassador in a moment. So we always tend to try and find celebrity ambassadors that are authentic, that truly do love the brand. I mean, we've got so many people that want to work for ModelCo, but what's important is that they genuinely have to really like the products because it has to be sincere because consumers are so savvy these days. They know, oh, that's cash for comment, and she's just saying she likes it because she's getting paid. So first and foremost, all of our girls have to like the products, but it's very powerful having that endorsement.
Yeah. So 15 years ago, the celebrity endorsement, the marketing and the product push, I suppose, is so different now than what it was 15 years ago. How do you feel about what's going on now and that whole, pay for posts and that sort of thing?
Well, when we started ModelCo, obviously it was driven by magazines. It was all about print media and editorial. Then around about 2008, the digital age started pushing through. So therefore we adapted at the time and we had a content-rich website, which was almost like a mini magazine that pushed through to our e-commerce site. Then there was the whole social media upswing, and now these days bloggers, vloggers and Instagram girls are just as more of a celebrity as what the old-fashioned celebrity supermodels were. So it's about staying ahead of the times and keeping up with what women want, and women want products that are not just quality, but they're not. Our consumer is quite savvy. They understand. These bloggers though need to be careful because they tend to over-endorse. Right. So we tend to try and pick the everyday consumer. So we have a review team of women who are just everyday women out there that are trying products, that are talking about our products. And we find that as well is important. So the combination of celebrities, the social media and the everyday woman, I think, is really important.
Do you have a favourite product of ModelCo?
We have a colour range, we have a tanning range, we have a skincare range. So I would say out of our tanning, definitely Tanning the Can is still my cult favourite. We've recently launched a mascara called Lash and Line, and it's a 2-in-1 mascara with an inbuilt eyeliner, which is great for beauty on the go. So that's my colour go-to product, and my rose mist in natural skincare.
Are these all your ideas?
Look, I have a fantastic team of people around me. We have a great new product development team. We listen to what consumers want. So we have a huge volume of ModelCo fans that write to us consistently saying, we wish that we had this product in our beauty bags. So some of the inspiration comes from some of the consumers. I tend to look at what I think women want before they know they want it and tend to come up with a lot of the products myself. So it's a combination of makeup artists, myself, the team. And we have now manufacturers from all over the globe that send us innovations, knowing that we're this kind of the moment, on the pulse brand. So we get a lot on my desk of innovations.
Do a lot of people ask you that question, like, how do you come up with these
All
ideas?
the time.
Yeah. Tan in a can. It's brilliant. It's genius. You're the first one to do it. And now that's what we do in our bathrooms. Our bathrooms are orange and, thank you very much. We all have amazingly tan skin because of this idea.
Well, there's so many brands that have the staple products, and I'm not a makeup artist. I create products for women that are on the go, real women. No one has a makeup artist at home. A lot of people, unless you studied makeup, can't apply makeup. So all of our products, they transcend convention, they're innovative, they're easy to apply, they give you that no makeup look. So I think about what is it that I need to get dressed really quickly and get out the door, and where are there gaps in the market, and then I go about filling those gaps.
Yeah. And having a global business is a huge, huge responsibility. Tell me, how do you break that down into waking up every morning into bite-sized pieces on achieving the things that you dream about and that you want to get done?
Look, there's a lot of planning that needs to happen. In the world of cosmetics and tanning, everything works in 6 months chunks: autumn, winter, spring, summer. So we're always working to each season, and then we break down seasons to months, months to weeks, and weeks to days. So the beginning of the week is always a quieter week for me because overseas is kind of still closed. So Monday's my perfect day to be having tea with Jules. You've got to be really organised, and you've also got to employ people in different departments within your business that know more than you do. My strength is sales and marketing, so I tend to head up the new product development and sales side of the business, but then I have a really strong team around me. My biggest fault is I take on too much. I'm always saying yes. And figuring it out later. That's one of my models. Say yes and we'll figure out how to do it.
I'm sure over 15 years of business you've run into a few troubles here and there and roadblocks. Daily. What are your strategies around dealing with, failures or ideas that don't take off, or roadblocks along the way?
Well, I see roadblocks as lessons, and there is no magic bullet when you start a business. You can study all you want, you can have as many mentors, but you've really got to learn it from the ground up. So I literally have learnt this business from the ground up. When I went into ModelCo, I thought, wow, I'm going to the world of beauty, but I wasn't really. I was going to wholesaling and retailing and logistics and finance. So I have learnt from the ground up, and my mistakes have been my biggest lessons along the way. So I tend to look at all of failures, products that don't work, relationships with retailers that, might not work out and I think, well, if I had that opportunity again, how would I do it? And then changing the way I'm looking at decisions that I make and saying, well, what's going to be the outcome of this? And you don't know what you don't know. So I'm always making mistakes. I'm still making mistakes now, but each time you make a mistake, you do get sharper.
What about the line between Shelley Barrett, the CEO of ModelCo, and Shelley Barrett, the woman? Is there a separation? Yeah.
Look, I think, I don't believe in, I get asked so many times, how do you have a work-life balance? How do you fit in being a mum? You don't. It's one world. I mean, I have ModelCo, my kids understand the business. To be the best mum I can be, I need to be happy, and to be happy, and the business needs to be in control. So I do work relatively long hours, but I do spend time with the kids, and I have downtime as well. But at the end of the day, I'm always on email. I'm always on the phone. But if I'm doing that, then I'm still a happy person. If I'm a happy person, then I'm a good mum. So there isn't this cut-off time where I say, no, it's 6 o'clock at night, I'm not going to. I think if you can balance everything together, but my world doesn't stop. It's all one woman.
Yeah. That is the question of life, the work-life balance, especially when you're a woman and you're working and you've got kids and you're a working mum. I think women are just trying to figure it out all the time. So they see another woman doing it, they want to know how how they're doing it?
Well, you never, I mean, even to this day, Mother's Day, you've got to, I try and balance going to school when I can, showing up when I can.
Yeah.
When the kids say to me, Mum, can you come and watch whatever it might be at school? I'll say, yes, I can come for an hour, but then I have to go back to work, and I explain to the girls why I have to work and why I can only be there. So as long as you educate the kids as to why you're doing the things that you do, be the best person you can be. I mean, I did a talk the other day, and a whole room of women said, how do you balance being a mum when I want to have a baby? I said, did you know what your mum was doing when she was 3?
Right.
So do as much as you possibly can when they're young. Spend as much time as you possibly can when they're young, because it's when they're older that they need your time. So
Right.
I'm fortunate enough that I've had, the girls are now 8 and 9. So I've worked quite hard. I'm hoping in the next few years to be able to be in a position where I don't have to work as longer hours, and so I can show up for them a bit more as they get older.
Do you think they might take after you, or are they've got other dreams that they want to fulfill?
Well, I always encourage them to do what they want to do, and because they're quite young, we haven't really had those discussions. But I know that my mum, she had several jobs and was doing what she was doing, so I'm sure what I am and how I run my world will rub off on them.
They might take over.
Maybe.
Okay, let's talk about the Celebrity Apprentice. How did you find that show and being on television, kind of on the other side?
I was excited by the opportunity to try something new, and it was all quite last minute when they put the cast together. Everyone was fantastic. It was a huge learning curve for me, a lot of sitting around, a lot of waiting, which live TV, as you know, is so quick and you're in and you're out, where it was challenging, long days. I think it was 5 weeks, 8-hour days. Those boardroom days, wow, they were long.
Yeah,
So
and brutal, huh?
It was real life. It wasn't, like Mark was very down the line. He was very good at what he did. And it was a great experience, and I had a lot of fun.
Does it ever kind of blow your mind how much people look to you for advice and business advice? Or is it sort of something you think, oh yeah, like I've got a lot to offer and I can give good advice?
Well, I just do what I do each day, and I'm so busy. I tend to try and give back when I can. I work a lot with Business Chicks and various other women's groups when I can to talk to women and motivate them. But really, I'm just the same as everybody else, giving it a go. I've had lots of wins and lots of, losses along the way. So I always encourage women, if you want to do something, do it. Follow your instinct. No is not an option.
Yes.
And my probably biggest downfall is say yes and figure it out later, which I'm trying to do less of. But no, I mean, I don't have time for self-congratulations. I don't think that I'm doing anything that's more amazing than the next person. I just do what I do and give it a go.
What would be the best advice that you've ever been given as a business person, and what would be your best advice that you would give somebody going into business or running a business?
My best advice that I've ever been given is surround yourself with people within your business and organisation that know more than you do in certain areas. So when you're starting a business, you think you know it all, but there's always weaknesses. So you need to define those weaknesses really quickly and go and hire people. So one of my biggest weaknesses is the back end logistics and warehousing. So I've gone and I have people in my organisation now that do a much better job than I do. So definitely surround yourself with people that know more than you do. I would say have a clear strategy for any business that you start, and when you put together your financial model, double what you think you need.
Really?
Always. You're always going to need more than what you think you need.
Right. More money,
more time,
more
double
people.
everything along
Yep.
the way.
Okay. I'm going to take that on board myself, actually. That's the whole reason you're here, really, just so I can get business advice from you. Now, I want to talk about getting back to this whole working mum thing. Here's something that I suffer from severely is mother's guilt.
Look, if you're a happy person, my belief is if you're happy, you'll vibrate that happiness and everyone else around you will be happy. So being guilty is just a waste of time, because little people and kids will look up to you as their guidance.
Yeah.
And if you're happy and fulfilled and content and in control, they will be happy and filled and content. If you're guilty, then it'll create angst with them. So I mean, sure, there's been times where the girls were babies and I've been overseas for long extended periods of time and, people are looking after the kids for me. And that's when you feel guilty, because you feel like you need to be there doing more. But I've really tried to work hard at not wasting time feeling guilty, because while you're wasting time feeling guilty, you're not being the best person you can be.
Because it's about intention, isn't it? Like you intend for your children to be happy, of course, like that's what you want. So if that's the intention, then you're going to do everything, even if you are at work.
And you're a role model for your kids, so
That's
you
right.
want your kids to look up to you and say, wow, Mum was strong and she got out there and did what she needed to do, and yes, she wanted to be with us, but she was out there doing what she was doing so we could have a great life. So I think there's a lot of people that tend to chew themselves up unnecessarily.
And you're about to be married again.
Yes.
This is amazing.
Getting married again,
And
second
this
time round.
This rock just keeps flashing in my face, and it's an absolute blinder, and it's amazing. And we have to get a really good shot of that because that's worth it. So congratulations.
Thank you. Getting married in November.
Yep. Have you got it all sorted?
Kind of. Still thinking about the finer details. We're having 20 people, now we're at 110.
Of course.
So we're
Double
getting
it,
married at our
triple
place
it.
on the balcony. So it'll be lovely, and our kids are
beautiful.
all involved. So Anthony, my partner, he's an accountant and a partner in an accounting firm, so he's really busy as well, and he's got 2 little kids from his previous marriage. So we're the Brady bunch.
Great.
So it'll be fun.
Are they girls as well?
A little boy and a little girl, Lily and Hugo. So
Okay, so there's going to be
they're all
one brother.
friends.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome. That's what you want. Have you got your dress?
No, I don't. I'm going through the whole, bridal thing, got to detox, got to lose weight, that whole thing. So I probably won't start thinking about the dress till probably about 2 months out.
You're brave.
I know.
Yeah. How do you take care of, yourself, your body? Have you got a regime? Have you got an exercise thing?
Look, I wish. I'm big on, I do kinesiology and Reiki. I love to be meditating more than I do. I've just recently taken up yoga. So I try to fit that in once or twice a week. I try to go to the gym, try to go for walks. So I think you try and squeeze in what you can. So I'm a big believer in you are what you eat. So you've got to really try and cleanse your diet.
Yes. Yeah, that is true. I'm just thinking about all the things I just ate on the weekend. I just had gnocchi for dinner last night.
Oh, I'm on a bit of a cleanse this week.
Oh, yeah?
Every week it's always on, you're always
Every
on something
Monday.
new. A juice cleanse, some type of detox, and then a retox by the weekend.
Oh, I've never heard that before. That's awesome. You do donate your time to charities and giving back. So I think that is so important in life, especially when you have a lot to give and a lot to give back. It's so important to invest that back into the community or into individuals or to other charities and that sort of thing. I'm a big believer in that. So tell me a bit about what you do to give back.
Well, as a business, ModelCo supports a number of charities. Pink Ribbon, I'm personally on the Sunshine for Sydney Children's Hospital committee. So a girlfriend of mine, Nikki Dunlop, started that many years ago. So I've been on that charity for about 6 years now. So I try to give as much time as I possibly can to that charity. I mean, we get requests every day, and we really try, I would say 8 out of 10. We try and support with some way, whether it's some type of product or some type of product hamper. There are so many charities out there now, and I feel that everybody deserves a little. So we don't strictly stick to 1 or 2 charities. So we try and give what we can. I think energetically it's good to give out, because what you give, you get back. So sometimes we give out more than we sell some days of the week online. We're down in the warehouse paying. I'm going, God, today's busy online. They go, no, that's going out to a charity. So we tend to try and give, because the products that we give, people obviously pay for in raffles and things. So we try to give what we can.
And tell me, what's next for you and ModelCo?
ModelCo's 15 years now. We're looking at developing a new range of skincare, potentially a unisex range of skincare. We're consistently innovating within all of our categories of the business, and we're looking to expand internationally further into the USA. So international distribution is what's next.
Wow, how exciting. That's so great. Well, I'm really excited to see what you come up with next and what product I'm going to be spraying on my body or doing to my face. I'm a really big fan, and I really appreciate your time today. Thank you for coming.
Pleasure, thank you.